Thursday is Halloween. Hundreds of haunted houses are open, hoping to entertain and scare. But some people are calling one Tennessee Halloween attraction a, quote, torture chamber under disguise.
McKamey Manor, a survival for boot camp experience.
Those hands up. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? It's all over for you, okay?
Thousands have signed a petition to shut down McKamey Manor in Summertown, Tennessee.
As of last year, there were over 27,000 on the combined waiting list.
According to its website, McKamey Manor promises an extreme experience that can last up to 10 hours, requires participants to be medically cleared by a doctor, and sign a 40-page waiver.
As you can see, I'm bloody, soaking wet, and terrified.
Yeah, you're on!
So strange how Stephen King has been around from like the
dawn of time.
More or less. I was going to say the 80s, but he probably stretches back further than that.
Yeah, definitely.
And then on top of that, like he's been rolling out these movies, man, and they just keep like either getting revamped or a new book keeps coming out.
Yeah.
And I think...
man doesn't stop.
No, he doesn't. Like, how can you have that much creativity for horror in your brain?
I know.
Like, there's only so many bad dreams that you can have that you're like, this is kind of repeating itself, isn't it?
There's that Family Guy sketch, though, where he's like pitching his ideas and they're like, no, Stephen, like we've done this one before. And he just like grabs the lamp off the table. He's like, a spooky lamp. Like he just takes anything possible and like makes it scary.
You probably can, though. Can you play a game? If I take two objects, you have to make a short horror story with it and a very, very small one, okay?
Okay.
So a glass of water and a soft, cuddly toy.
You looking at me right now?
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Okay. So it's okay. A small child died before their time.
Okay.
Their favorite cuddly toy.
Yeah.
Still sits on the bed.
Okay.
Turns its head slowly. Glass of water tips off the table. Is it possessed? Is it a ghost? We don't know.
It's like a really passive aggressive. It's like a cat. Yeah. It's basically like a cat is what you're describing.
Yeah. All right, you go.
Well, I would have said that possessed toy and it was a child that drowned. And then it turns out that the only weakness that it has is a glass of water.
A glass of water.
Yeah.
It's a very easy ghost to stop.
It's a very small toy, but it does a lot of damage. Even Chucky had a weakness.
This is fair.
Yeah. So there you go. Why don't you do one for me?
Okay. A plug socket.
Okay.
And a fork.
We call this suicide. Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, welcome into episode 7.
7?
We're on 7, right?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
I keep trying to confirm these episodes because I know that the longer that it goes is the harder it's going to be for me to like kind of catch up on it.
Time is meaningless. I don't know what number it is.
Look, let's not get to this stage, okay? Right? Lockdown's kind of over now, so we can kind of regain some kind of normality, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, welcome into GhostWaves, brought to you always by myself, Ryan.
Myself, Rachel.
And no glass of water or cuddly toys today.
Well.
I don't know why. I thought you were going to like slurp it for some reason.
Oh, I can. I can't.
What was that?
I tried.
I was like, I can slurp this. Silence. Absolute silence. Rachel, I have a question for you.
The answer is 3.14.
Brilliant. Are we getting pie or no? What is your favorite type of pie?
Apple, I think. Just apple.
Really? Not
Yeah.
cherry?
No. For a Twin Peaks fan, I know, but
All right. Fair. Yeah.
no, it's apple pie. You can't beat it.
I love cherry pie. It's great.
Warm apple pie, cold custard. That's the rule.
It's interesting. I don't know why I'm taking this all as an innuendo, like American Pie.
No.
Scarred me for life.
Yeah,
Do you know
I
what
can see that.
That's why I eat crumble. I don't know.
Oh, I do like a crumble.
Is a crumble, like, is it like a worldwide thing or is it just?
I have no idea. What's a cobbler? I know Americans have cobbler.
Peach cobbler.
Cobbler.
Yeah. Who did that?
I don't know.
Peach cobbler.
Was it Simpsons again?
Was
Are we cursed?
I wouldn't be surprised, to be fair. But I don't know.
Okay, so we're past the halfway point to Halloween now.
We are past the halfway point.
Are you excited?
Of course I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
Halloween's every day for me, but it's the fact that we're living in Halloween in the sun
I know.
You know? So it's like Hotel Transylvania 3.
Yeah.
Still spooky, but they're kind of on holiday.
Yeah.
You know?
When's too early to put up the decorations?
Well, you know, because we live together, that the decorations are kind of already up in my room.
This is true.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like as soon as it hits 1st of September, we can get the pumpkins out.
Well, I mean, if they could do it around Christmas time, do you know what I mean? Like they're putting up Christmas decorations in October before
This is
Halloween
true.
even
so
happens.
Annoying. Yeah.
So yeah, why don't they do the same for Halloween?
I know, I agree.
Yeah.
I wish this country did Halloween more.
I wish I
Like
could.
parades and everything and trick-or-treating. It'd be so fun.
It's so cool. Like I know we're literally just starting this podcast, and I'm not forcing anybody to do anything, but I will cut you if you don't leave a comment and tell us what kind of Halloween celebration do you guys have, if you
Alright.
do celebrate it.
Sam Hain over here with his little box cutter.
From Trick or Treat. Oh man.
The reason I'm asking about Halloween is because we all know we love a horror maze, a haunted house,
Amazing.
escape room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Pumpkin patch ride.
Yeah.
Is it like a scare pumpkin maze?
Like a little, what do you call them? Like a hay maze? Cornfield maze?
Yeah, it's something like that. They're in loads of horror movies. And even that like Adam Sandler movie that came out recently on Netflix.
Oh, Hubie Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
It was cool. Like the aesthetic of that movie. Like I know a lot of people slate Adam Sandler, me included.
Same.
But yeah,
Do you know what? He's cool now though.
Is
He's
he?
made a comeback, yeah.
With what?
He's like a fashion icon.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why, what did he do? Dress up with a bin bag?
You know the way he wears like those like dad golf shorts and like long socks and rubbish trainers and like a big oversized tee and a baseball cap?
Yeah.
Everyone's loving it.
Which is kind of ironic because whenever he was like, you know, shooting Happy Gilmore, the movie, he was like this kind of like cool lumberjack hipster type.
Yeah.
And now he is the golf dad.
Yeah.
He is Shooter McGavin.
Yeah. He's
know.
not like a little dweeb anymore. Like people are like, yeah, Adam Sandler's cool.
And he's lost weight as well.
Fair play.
Yeah, strangely enough. Because he used to be quite a potato. Because he's got that shaped head. That's all I'm saying.
Not body shaming people.
I'm head shaming, if anything, to be fair. But yeah, with the whole Halloween vibe is what we're getting at. If you haven't kind of grasped it by the title or the introduction. We are kind of going into something that, I don't know, man, it's kind of like a fear within an environment that causes fear, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because whenever you go on a roller coaster or whenever you go to like a horror maze or whenever you go to a theme park, you know that everything is kind of bolted down and everything is kind of highly supervised and health checks are carried out.
Well, you hope.
You hope, yeah, you do hope. Like I know there has been disasters in the past and those kind of things, but the majority of people, like it's a very minute scale of whenever disaster strikes.
I hate it though. Do you remember when we went to Grönalund in Sweden
Yeah.
and I was having a meltdown in the queue for every single roller coaster?
You were, yeah, because it was like you've never really done a roller coaster before.
No, I
right?
did. I did Alton Towers for my 18th birthday.
Yeah.
And that was my first ever like theme park experience.
Yeah.
And I had a meltdown there. And then
Yeah.
I didn't ever go on one again until 25 years old.
Yeah.
I had another meltdown.
You know what? You handled it pretty well though, because we're polar opposites in that respect. Because I'm the type of person who's like, how scary is it, and how long does it last? Because I want it to last as long as possible, and I want it to be as scary as possible. We are like, can I sit here and get some ice
I'm just
cream?
like, I don't want to die.
Yeah. Which is kind of strange, but like, you know, it's a popular kind of thing, I guess. You always get like, you don't get a happy medium with that. You know, you don't get people who are like, don't mind roller coasters, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm not a thrill seeker. Like I'll happily like go sit in the park.
Yeah.
You know what I
just
mean?
Chill out and read a book
Yeah.
while I'm like, you know, skydiving
Yeah.
off the Eiffel Tower or something.
Yeah.
So
But we did it. It was fun.
we did. It was awesome.
And it was Halloween.
And it was Halloween. On Halloween itself, we went to this place and like the overall theme was just everything you wanted from like a Halloween like amusement park.
Yeah. Like it started out in the daytime. Like we were there all day.
Yeah.
And it was like early on, like the kids' rides were running about and we were just getting like popcorn, candy apples, wearing our little pumpkin hats, like really wholesome.
Yeah.
And then as it got darker, it started getting more like twisted and scary. Remember, like the circus performers came out through the crowds of the fire.
Right. Yeah, it was like something out of Mad Max as well.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But like they kind of tap into all your fears. So there's this like clown house that's there. And it's just like a wacky house. And you're walking up the steps, but the steps are like elevating and de-elevating.
Yeah, it was like crazy stairs. But even like going into even before the scare maze even started,
Yeah.
there
like
was a chance
waiting.
of falling off that and like cracking
Yeah.
your head open. Like it was crazy.
Which was kind of nuts because
We weren't expecting it.
yeah, you think it would be supervised, but you're like, hold on a minute. I could actually fall to my death here, which is kind of strange. But I think the kind of point that I was getting at is that anything that is like that you go to as an attraction is somewhat protected. However, today we're kind of looking at stuff that take away that level of security with a
Yes.
person. So whenever you go to these kind of amusement parks, whenever you go to these horror mazes, whenever you kind of slip in to an area that you're not really comfortable with, it's completely out of the norm. It's not like going to a movie. It's not like going out to a bar with your friends. This is something which is more or less similar to thrill seeking, I think.
Yeah, that's what you want. Like in the back of your head, you're like, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's actors, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you want to be scared.
Yeah. So what if that's taken away from you? What if the safety and security is taken away from you? And what if you go into a place knowing that shit's about to get crazy as such,
It's a whole other level.
but there are people out there who actually go for it? And it kind of leads us to what I want to talk about today, which is like, don't get me wrong, this is going to be still fun and still going to be spooky and goofy, but I've been reading up on this specific place, which I'm going to get into in a minute, and it scared the absolute balls out of me, man.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
It's mad. It's legal.
It's insane how it's still running,
Yeah.
and it's even more insane that no one has actually died in this place. This place has been on the news. This place has been circling around for quite some time.
In documentaries.
Documentaries, YouTube, blogs, you name it.
Yep.
Even probably podcasts before this.
Oh, for sure.
But this place is fascinating with how disastrous it is. Obviously, I haven't named the name yet because I'm really trying to, like, before I even name this, because I know people stop and then they Google it. Sometimes I do that. Whenever I listen to a podcast, they mention a name, I'm like, let me Google this.
Oh, yeah?
And then you spoil it for yourself, yeah. There are people out there. You're a Googler, right?
I'm a Googler, but when I have a podcast on, I just like, I put it in the background while I'm doing something.
Just let it flow.
Let it happen.
So if you are doing an art piece right now, if you are doing some amazing calligraphy, maybe you're on the toilet or driving to work, just kind of, this is gonna get a bit uncomfortable. I think this place is called the McKamey Manor. Now, it's kind of like not so much a haunted maze. It's not so much a scare house. It's kind of more like
A living nightmare.
a living nightmare. I was gonna say like a murder simulator.
Yeah, you could
Pretty much.
say that.
Yeah. Now, whenever we said this, you may have heard of this, you may have not heard of this, but for those who have not, and for those who have, maybe there's something in this that is going to be new information for you, because I've done a terrifying amount of research in this solely because it has just freaked me out so much. I just wanted to know more and more about it.
You just can't stop looking.
It's kind of like diving down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, of just this stuff. This kind of kept me up a tiny bit. I think I had dreams or nightmares compared to this. But, like, I kind of want people to put in the comments if you have been to, like, a scare maze or a horror house. Like, if you have an experience that was, like, what was the most terrifying experience you ever had? And does it compare to something like this? So, the McKamey Manor, which was originally located in San Diego.
The whale's vagina. Right?
A whale's vagina. Is that Anchorman?
Yeah.
You're Anchorman of
I
me?
don't know why. When do I ever reference like 90s to
San
or like
Diego.
early
90s?
2000s? I don't know. Time. I told you, time is meaningless.
This is true.
I never reference like Simpsons, Family Guy, like 2000s movies.
Yeah.
But for some reason, as soon as I'm in this chair,
Sit me on a chair with a camera and a
What the
microphone.
hell?
90s references and naughties coming out of your
I
ears.
know.
I like that though. I like that. But yeah, Anchorman, for anyone who doesn't know, we have to reference our silly quotes, I think.
Yeah, Oxford. Yep.
Yeah. So San Diego. And McKamey has introduced several tours since as far back as 2014, which weirdly enough. So this place has been going for like, what's that, like 7-8 years now?
I cannot do maths,
Why are we really bad at like simple year math?
and maths is my job, which is the worst part of it.
What year is it?
What is time?
Yeah. So this guy has been going for 7 years, McKamey, and it is one dude, and his name is Russ. So Russ McKamey, whenever you hear that, you kind of think,
Sounds like a bit of a douche.
not like a douche. It just sounds like a dude who's kind of probably sitting on his yard, drinking a beer.
No, because I think of that. Didn't Cody and Noel do a video on that rapper guy called Russ, and he was like the worst ever?
Oh yeah, he was like super douche.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Well, I don't know. Mixed feelings about it. I always think that they have a trucker hat, like a kind of mustache, but then you bring up the rapper.
That's a Rufus for me.
Rufus?
Rufus has a trucker hat.
Whenever you say Rufus, I immediately think of Bill and Ted.
Who's Rufus and Bill and Ted?
What? Really? Like the dude in the phone box with the glasses?
Oh.
Famous comedian, George
Yeah,
Carlin.
yeah.
R.I.P. Rest his soul. May he be rocking in heaven or hell. Either way. But anyway, back to Russ McKamey. He is the person who has started this whole thing. And as I said, 2014 was the last known. So whenever this actual McKamey Manor originally started, I'm sure it was well before 2014. But this is taken from like one place, which was the Whale's Vagina, and has moved on to places like Nashville, Tennessee, and Huntsville, Alabama. So he's kind of like created like almost like a Fight Club kind of thing, where it like starts as like one small thing, and the next thing you know, it's like everywhere
Yeah, he's franchised it.
and slowly like spreading out. Now, the weird thing about this, whenever you think of like haunted houses or mazes and stuff, you're like, okay, I'm going to expect like a theme. I'm going to expect a few scares, maybe a few actors covered in blood or zombies, contact lenses, strobe lights, the whole shebang
Yeah.
for an awesome Halloween experience. This is an all-round experience, and it's moved out from that whole kind of like haunted house culture and that kind of like horror culture, and has moved it into something that is almost like torture, like BDSM, like
Yeah.
how far can you go? This has been originally advertised for this guy to get so much traction. He has advertised it saying that he would offer $20,000 to anyone who completed the tour.
I don't know if it's even worth it. Like, obviously you're going to go into it, but from what I've heard happens to participants,
Yeah,
$20,000 is not worth it.
right. So I'm going to ask you, and I'm
Yeah.
going to ask everybody who is listening and who is watching at the moment, would you go through something like this for $20,000?
No, so the example I'm thinking of, right? They can get their teeth pulled out, can't they?
Right. Well, we're kind of jumping the gun here as to what actually goes on in it.
Okay, well, this is a little teaser.
Right.
You get your tooth pulled out, your
Yeah.
tooth broken.
Yeah.
What are your medical bills going to be?
Right.
Here in the UK, we're lucky enough, but in America, I know like dental bills are crazy.
It's like, I survived, but I spent it all on my medical bills.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're in a hospital or something after, like there it goes. What was
Yeah,
the
just
point?
getting your head sewed back together. It would be
Yeah.
like, that would be $20,000.01.
Damn it.
My own money. I've lost out.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. But like 20, right, so 20 G's isn't even really that much money. Like, yeah, sure, it's free money and it's more than like, you know, a couple of $100.
20 grand for doing a normal horror maze.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But for
Fantastic.
this place, no.
Yeah. This, like, I don't want to go any further without getting into it because a lot of people are like, just get to the details, man. What are you
Hurry
talking
up.
about? you know? So this, as I said, he offers $20,000 to anyone who completes the tour, but no one ever has completed the tour.
No one.
No one has ever completed this.
And
Everyone
he's expanded it to different places and still no one.
Still nobody. So in all the years that this has been going, many people have shared stories. And it's kind of strange because I'll get into a different side of this later on in the episode where people have kind of like almost rebelled against this in a legal way.
Okay.
Like I guess a lot of people are uncomfortable with certain things that, you know, performers or companies, whatever, do. Like, for example, the thing with Subway going on at the moment. You know what I mean? So like, somebody always finds something to kind of like throw.
For those who don't know, I just need to say Subway's tuna contains 0 tuna DNA. And I just think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is it?
If you do get like a tuna Subway sandwich, whether it's a tuna melt or whatever else, that's the problem to begin with.
You already know the people that order tuna melts at Subway I'm scared of those people.
Right? It was just like...
They don't care that it's not tuna.
Right. It was like what we said on the Patreon podcast, where we were like, if you eat fish and you go to like work, or even if you like meet anybody after eating fish, you are just a horrible person. Because you know, it's just like eating garlic.
Exactly.
Stay at home.
Exactly.
All right? Don't spread the weird smell that comes out of your pores and your mouth.
But
Anyway, little bit of a tangent there. So there is no entrance fee to this.
Oh, that's what I was about to ask. Yeah, do you need to pay to go?
This is the weird thing. And this is what kind of like attracts so many people, I think. That, well, before the whole stories and the notoriety with this.
How does he make money then?
I don't know. Do you want me to message him?
Get like a t-shirt at the gift shop after? Is that it? Like, that's
I survived, barely.
That's his entire revenue stream, is just like mugs and pins at the gift shop.
Well, I wouldn't know how you would do this. I'm assuming like there is kind of, well, all right, well.
I'm going to go down a tangent now.
Of what?
Well, now I'm like, it's actually like you were saying, like it's torture and BDSM. Like he films people being tortured and sells it
and stuff
on the dark web and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Well, here's one thing that I'm imagining. So he has like almost like a YouTube channel and he has coverage. So I'm assuming that he stole stories to like press and he sold stuff, you know, with companies or
definitely get demonetized on YouTube for that.
Well, maybe it's like the highlights, just people like running and screaming or something. But he does not charge an entrance fee, which is kind of insane. And the waiting list, like I'm telling you, the waiting list on this thing is crazy.
No way.
You know how many people, today I Googled this, how many people as of today are waiting to go into this attraction?
Like 1,000?
Right. 24,000 people as of today are waiting to get into this place.
24,000 psychopaths.
Right. 24 people who just love to get hurt, who just love to get their teeth pulled out.
But is there something like, because obviously there's nothing to stop me from going on and saying, yeah, I'll do it. Like, do you have to like prove like you're actually going to go? Like, do you need to put a deposit or anything down? Like, so it doesn't mess up the queue system? Do you know what I mean?
This is a very, very administrative mindset for somebody who is literally like putting plastic bags over someone's head.
This is true.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm going to the business side of things. I'm like, right, where's your income coming from? How are we regulating this?
What are you, auditing him?
Yeah.
You working for the IRS?
Don't tell.
But no, he takes payment apparently in dog food for his pets. So he has dogs.
Oh, that's nice. What a nice guy.
Right. Brilliant guy. Let's get into the meat and bones of what actually goes on in this place.
Okay.
Because I like the way that we haven't actually explicitly said what happens in it, because then people are like, what do they do? Tickle your butt? Do they do butt stuff? I want to know if they do butt stuff.
They might.
They probably do, but I don't know is the answer to that. What they do, though, is...
What they do.
I was going to say do, but I'm not 4 years old.
I am.
Yes, you are. Anyway, I just want to say, like, first of all, right, let me get over this because we're getting ahead of ourselves. So at the Tennessee location, guests must be 21 or older, right? 18 to 21 with parental consent. So if you're 18, you still can't go, but obviously...
Mom, can I go to the torture house?
Mom, can I get tortured? Can I get my teeth pulled out? I mean, like, how are the parents going to, like, sign off on that? What way would you sell that to your parents?
Just like, can I go to this haunted house? They're like, yeah, whatever.
and then you come back beaten. You're like,
unrecognizable.
I was mugged. With like, I don't know, man, a bag with just one tin of dog food on it.
Wearing your I survived like McKamey Manor t-shirt that you got in the gift shop.
Yeah. Oh god, that would be so hard to explain, I think. But yeah, so parental consent apparently is allowed. The Alabama location is 21 or older. No kind of, I guess, wavering with 18. I don't know why they put it one location but not the other.
It must be like a state thing.
Yeah. So what happens in this place? I was going to go into like length of time, etc., etc. However, I kind of want to jump to this and then go back to it because I want you to imagine what goes on for the amount of time that this thing lasts for.
Okay.
Or is supposed to last for.
Okay.
Okay. So included in this whole experience, there is a 40-page waiver, which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And there are like kind of people who have went through the waiver and have posted it up on Twitter. I'm going to include like a couple of pages so people can see, because I'm going to be paraphrasing this heavy because obviously with like waivers and legal kind of stuff, there's a lot of jargon. So I'm going to get into this. Included in the waiver, it says that people may come in contact with carbon monoxide poisoning, for one, whether that is accidental or on purpose.
Wow, okay.
Who knows? And you consent to being crushed by rocks and zapped by dog collars.
Wow.
It used to be that you did not get to quit unless there was serious physical or psychological injuries to your person.
You'd like to think that would be a reason to stop?
Right. So this has changed over time because now there's a safe word that's introduced.
I did read, I can't remember where, but I did read accounts of like people saying that the safe words are ignored though. Even
Right.
if you're screaming them, like they'll still not stop.
I think it's kind of one of those things that they had to include it for legal purposes.
Yeah.
But there's so much weird stuff. I'm going to go through the rest of this and then I'm going to kind of pick this apart a tiny bit. So the waiver also includes sections where participants can have teeth extracted without Novocaine,
Or like a painkiller.
which I'm assuming, is a painkiller, and be subjected to water torture, like waterboarding and stuff.
I think, what was the documentary you watched? It was on Netflix, Dark Tourist, right?
Yeah, doctorism.
And
yeah.
they did an episode on that.
Yes,
and
they did, yeah.
There was a guy who had like, wasn't it like a fishbowl or something? One of those like old-timey underwater suits.
Yeah, it was...
that like fastens around the neck and
Right.
they just filled it up with water. So he's literally just drowning
Yeah.
and couldn't get it off his head.
Yeah,
It's
it was
like
kind
Saw.
of... For like... It basically is Saw.
It's literally Saw.
Yeah, and I think it was specifically... It was the McKamey Manor that he went to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The whole doctorism thing, he basically goes to this guy who's doing this McKamey Manor, and it's all about him kind of like psyching himself up for it. He's been preparing for it, like mentally and physically,
He
for
goes
like
through the waiver and everything.
X amount of days, goes through the waiver, and then next thing you know, he lasts... How long did he last for?
Like an hour, if even.
Yeah, like 60 minutes. And he was like crying at the end of it, being like, I thought I was stronger than this.
Yeah.
So you obviously attract those type of people who are like, almost want to test their limits,
Yeah.
which I think is absolutely terrifying.
It takes a certain type of person. I feel like you have to get to some sort of place mentally to want to subject yourself to that.
Right? Like where, like, have you lost everything in your life and you're kind of like, I just want to test me.
Dark. But then also it might be people that are like super ballsy, like confident, like it's just a horror maze, like it's not gonna phase me, I'm strong, whatever.
I think it's like, once again, it's your mental safety net being like, well, at least I'm not going to die. But like, apparently, according to this, you will be close to death many times. Yeah. So it's kind of nuts. The whole 40-page waiver was, it was put up on Twitter and it was kind of like taken apart by this particular person. I'm going to include screenshots of the tweet and like the actual stuff itself, as I said. And he's like spelling stuff wrong.
Yeah, he writes libel instead of liable, right?
Right.
Which would like invalidate the
Right. Yeah, so
the waiver.
So it's almost like as if it's like it could be down to like his own negligence, but it's kind of, he could spin it as saying like, oh, that was an accident. Yeah, that was a spelling error. Oh, silly me. And
But I think waivers, like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm talking about.
I'm not a lawyer, right? cool.
But I think waivers don't really hold up in court much anyway.
Yeah, well, I don't know. If people think, like, if people know what they're getting themselves in for, like with something like this, there's kind of no excuse.
Yeah.
It's kind of like me going to, you know, an ice cream parlor whenever I'm lactose intolerant and then trying to sue them
Yeah.
for eating their ice cream.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So
I'm sure it's been done.
has it?
Probably.
It's like kind of like that side story. Do you know why they have like caution maybe hot on all the coffee lids?
Oh, and McDonald's. Someone sued McDonald's, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Someone sued McDonald's because they ordered like a hot coffee
Yeah.
and then spilled it around themselves and got like, I don't know, 3rd degree burns maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and sued McDonald's. So now they have to say like caution hot.
It's like Darwin Awards. Yeah.
Right. But you know what? Yo, they got away with it. So pretty insane. However, going back to this. So with the 40-page waiver, as I said, it's kind of like being picked apart and it's terrifying to read through. It almost scares me more than the actual thought of the torture itself. The weirdest thing about this waiver and the weirdest thing that kind of happens with this whole experience is that this dude makes you sign the waiver. You create your own safe word, which apparently has been reported to be ignored many times.
Yeah.
And you get a full physical prior to entering. I think that's because, you know, you need to see that you're in like a top-notch condition. People with like,
Right.
you know, would be prone to like heart kind of issues
allowed
and
to
stuff
do it?
like that. No, they're not allowed to do that because, you know what, you're just kind of asking for your own death sentence there, really.
Yeah.
So, you know, you kind of bring him all these things. And the weird thing that I've kind of read, this is kind of speculation, and it's kind of been, you know, said by people who have attended this, that he like vets people, like has like a kind of one-on-one with them to see if they're easily manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
So he can kind of like dive in not only to like their physical kind of like, I don't know, stamina, their physical kind of like barriers, but it would be to their like mental psyche. So he kind of wants to get inside their head.
So it's kind of like a Darren Brown. Like he wants the more malleable minds.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he can break them. Is that what he's trying to do?
Bend, not break.
Well, Darren Brown's different, but this Russ guy, like,
yeah.
it sounds like he just wants to like fuck people up.
Well, you know what? He kind of has a lot. So there has been some stories about this place.
Yeah, you'd have severe PTSD.
Right. Like if you kind of think about it. So this dude has like, this Russ guy has 23 years military background.
That explains a lot.
Right.
But just to interject, so once he vets people, so say you've gone through the process and the waiting list and everything, you've gone through your physical,
yeah,
but he can still say, no, I don't want you to do it.
Yeah. It's all up to him.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's like such a power trip.
Well, of course it's a power trip, but like, you're not losing out on anything. You as a participant are not losing out on anything.
Yeah, but it's weird for, like, what does he get out of this?
It's almost like as if he like gets pleasure out of it.
Yeah.
It's almost like serial killer vibes.
Yeah, like trailing the very edge of the law there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you have willing participants.
Of course. Like if you think about it, right? So like we've already mentioned some of the stuff that he does here, but I'm assuming it's like there's waterboarding, like minor assaulting.
Mm-hmm.
There is kind of like putting, you know, I think it would be like airplane noise cancelling headphones on that, and then you would put like glasses on which would block out your vision.
Sensory deprivation.
So you would have full sensory deprivation, and then he would be like spinning you around and leading you around a room, or asking you or telling you or whatever to like get out of the room. Simple stuff.
I think I read he drugs people as well, right?
Does he?
I think so. I think is like IV drugs
Oh.
in people.
Whoa, no, I didn't know.
Not
about that.
necessarily illegal drugs. I don't think he like shoots
Heroin into somebody.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I think maybe like to make you like a little bit dizzy or not like fully aware what's going on.
Right, okay. So it is proper like
Mind altering.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, like UV ultra, that type of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I don't know how this could be kind of brought up as like a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine going to the bank for a loan. So here's my idea.
It's like, look, I want to torture people, but I don't want to get arrested for it.
But I don't want them to pay me. I'll pay them.
You're right. I will pay. Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude, this is like straight out of Craigslist.
Right?
Like if you think about it, if you haven't actually like if you don't know about this and you've seen an ad on Craigslist, I'm pretty sure there have been ads on Craigslist because I don't want to get into the whole Craigslist murder thing because there's
that's a podcast in itself.
That's a podcast in itself. If you want to hear that, let us know. Definitely do. But this is kind of like one of those adverts. If I was reading this on, let's say Facebook, it's like, hello, looking for person to torture. I will pay you $20,000 to be tortured. Like, you'd be like, hell no. What are you going to do? Like, violently touch yourself while, I don't know, slapping me in the head with like
a crowbar.
Whoa. I think I would be murder, but like, it's so strange, but now it's kind of like painted as a can you survive type.
Yeah, it's
type
become
deal.
like an internet legend.
Yeah. And now it's kind of strange because even the haters have fueled this because people are like, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this. He's like so sick, he's so twisted. And everyone's just like, yo, I'm sick and twisted. Do you think I can get in on this?
Yeah.
So
well, you found a petition, right, to like take it down?
This is what I was going to get to next. It got so far during this that like they call people who have like, I guess, gone through this and opted out of it afterwards via using their safe word or before the safe word was invented by the psychological or physical trauma. They call them survivors and victims. So it's almost like as if they weren't participants. It kind of like eliminates the whole participation part of it out.
Yeah.
And, they think that they were subject to manipulation as to why they did it in the first place. But you know what? I'm not going to book like a bus or a train or a night down here all because I was manipulated by somebody. He's not reaching out to people. People are reaching out to him.
I know. It's such a grey area. Like, I kind of understand on one level because, I mean, obviously no one forced them, but also they probably never thought it would be as bad as it was.
Right.
Like, you would never agree to it if you knew the full extent of what it was. And obviously now it's become more popular, but I guess in the early days people didn't really understand.
Yeah, but it's strange that now it's became more popular and people do know the amount of people waiting to get at it.
The world's fucked up.
I don't know, man. It's so strange. But I'm gonna I brought this up and it is a petition to like shut it down. So the whole thing to shut it down, this is on change.org. I'm gonna put up the link to it.
If you want to sign it.
If you want to sign it, like if you are against this, it's kind of strange because they need 200,000 apparently. I don't know where they get these numbers. Maybe it's to kind of like
it's to bring it to Congress or whatever, because I know in the UK if they get X amount of signatures it can then be brought to the House of Parliament.
Right, okay. So this is kind of like a similar thing then. But this, I'm going to like leave a link in the description if you want to. Now, where we stand in this.
Leave a link to their website as well if you want to sign against it or if you want to join the wait list. Like, we don't care.
I don't give a shit.
Live your life.
This is what I'm going to say. Yeah, we're not really like strong on this. If like that's what I was going to say, our disclaimer or our standpoint in this. I just think it's fucking crazy.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Would I do it? Fuck no.
No.
Definitely not. Like, I love horror mazes, but this is not horror. This is torture.
That's the thing. Like, when you if you search into Google, whatever, scariest horror maze, you won't get like whatever down the road from you. It will bring up this McKamey Manor.
Yeah.
But to me, that's not a horror maze.
No. What would be your ideal horror maze?
Oh, those ones I know we're talking about it again, but those ones in Sweden were just so good.
Fantastic. Yeah. I think mine would be a room full of wacky inflatable arm flailing tube men.
It's not a horror maze. That's fun.
They are scary.
Really?
All right. And if you run from one end to the other while they're all like
you just tackle them.
Flapping arms and stuff.
Just jump on them.
All right, wacky inflatable arm flailing tube men with knives. All right.
Then
they just end up stabbing each other.
Yeah, they'll deflate.
It's like, oh, Henry flattened Charlie again today.
No, that one, the first one that we did in Sweden, there was 3, wasn't there? There was one on the boat, there was one in the circus, and then there was one in the graveyard.
Yes. The circus was the first one, yeah.
No, circus was the last one.
No, sorry, yeah, it was the graveyard that was the first one, yeah.
I just remember going, I think it was the end of the graveyard one, where you just went through like a tunnel. It was like inflatable material either side.
Right.
So you had to like literally push your way
Squeeze through it, yeah.
And you couldn't see in front because it was so black.
Yeah.
And you didn't know what was.
So you're just pushing blindly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like being born.
Yeah. Mom?
But that was just so scary to me because I don't think because obviously we were in a different country. Neither of us like really spoke the language.
Yeah.
didn't know where I was, what was going to be on the other side.
Yeah.
It was complete sensory deprivation, which I haven't really ever experienced that much of before.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Like scary, but really cool.
I kind of want to mention this part just for comedy purposes, and you know probably the story that I'm going to tell. Every person that was there, so like obviously this was for Swedish people. Like
yeah, it was like all Stockholm locals basically.
Yeah, it wasn't for like tourists and stuff. So, but whenever we went, it was kind of funny because like a lot of the people would hear us talking in like the line, so they would tell the instructors who were like dressed up in like skeletal or like clown gear or whatever that we were English. So
Yeah,
they
because
would
they'd be saying the instructions or the warning was in Swedish.
Yeah.
And we'd be at the back with like blank faces.
I'd be like, are we gonna die? And then they would say it again in English. But there was one guy in particular, and he was like so animated, and he was like speaking in Swedish, putting
Getting
his
up in
arms
people's
everywhere,
faces, being creepy.
just being creepy. And then he turned to us, and then like before he did this, he was like, okay, I will explain in Swedish, then I will explain in English. And he did the whole creepy show, and then he just looked at us and he was like, nothing important.
So good.
Still gets me.
So
to
we were
this
just
day.
like led blindly into this room, like, what the hell did he just tell them? Like, what do we not know?
I was like, what the fuck just happened? He was like, you
So
could
good.
die in here, but nothing important for you.
So good.
Tourists. Oh man, it was so good. But back to the petition. So this is, 200,000 signatures is needed for this. The strange thing about this, whenever I clicked on this link, because I discovered it earlier today, and whenever I clicked on it, I wanted to take a screenshot of this to include in the YouTube video, and the petition kept going up.
Yeah, like as you were on the page, the numbers kept checking
Like,
out.
so people are still trying to shut this thing down, and this petition started, as far as I'm aware, in 2018.
Oh.
So,
But they still haven't got the 20,000?
but they still haven't got to 20,000. So obviously, I'm assuming that people are trickling in and more stories are coming out about this. So this is kind of like linked up. I'm going to read like a tiny blurb from this just to kind of advertise the counter argument for this being entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
So McKamey Manor advertised as an extreme haunt, when in fact this is not a haunt. It's a torture chamber under disguise. Reportedly, they do screenings to find the weakest, most easily manipulated people to do the haunt, in quotation marks. It's reported that if Russ doesn't think you're easily manipulated, you aren't allowed to go. So he can.
So yeah, he's looking for the weak link.
So he's looking for people that he can completely like obliterate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he uses loopholes to get out of being arrested. Previously, no safe word was allowed. He changed that, but there have been reports that the torture continues even when people to repeat the safe word for several minutes. One man was tortured so badly, he passed out multiple times. Workers only stopped because they thought they had killed him.
That's terrifying.
Right. It's crazy. So his 40-page waiver uses the word libel instead of liable, constantly pretty much making it void. But in reality, signing waivers literally means nothing.
Yeah, that's what I read. Like, they don't really hold up in court.
Yeah. So there's like a couple of other things that they have been saying, that there's reports that he uses needles to inject people with drugs, forces them to ingest pills, questionable items to force hallucinations also. Russ repeatedly says it's all smoke and mirrors. Then why are people leaving with fractured bones, mental trauma, and covered in bruises accompanied by facial swelling?
Crazy.
It is nuts. And it is just so strange because these guys and girls are labeling it as a kidnap and torture house. But then again, it once again poses that thing that people know what is going on. Like, if I'm going to something, I would Google it. Like, if we're going on holiday,
Yeah.
we Google where's cool attractions,
Yeah,
then you read
yeah,
up on
yeah,
them. Only an absolute idiot, in my opinion, would go to somewhere like this without a tiny bit of research.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? So I think it's weird. So if you do want to sign a petition, hop on over to change.org. The link is in the description. Or if you want to book a night, the link is also in the description.
Yeah. How long does it actually take? Is it like a day, a few hours? Like, or I guess you don't know because no one's ever finished it.
Wait, did I not say?
No.
Oh man, Right. So this is kind of exciting actually that I left it to this point. So the whole thing is estimated to last 8 to 10 hours
Wow.
So-
Of constant torture.
of constant torture.
You pass out.
Right, which people have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this isn't like 30-minute long kind of experience you win, but I guess he's trying to make people earn their money. And the fact that this stuff has been like freely made into content as well.
I'd love to know, like, do you know those like SAS Navy SEALs who like have to learn how to deal with torture?
Right.
Like in
Yeah.
case they ever get kidnapped or whatever,
Yeah.
like proper military. Like I would love to know if they could survive it.
Yeah, me too. Like the winner from like, you know, what is it? Like
He Who Dares
SAS.
Wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if they go in there and they're like, nah. But I don't know, like, because it's so strange because obviously there's a lot of people who's like, as I said, speculating as to what happens here. And then there's a lot of like survivors or victims that are giving their story about it. But apparently it changes up every time. So it's not like as if
It's not like a scripted thing. They just like
No,
do
it's
whatever
just-
they want.
it's just free roam. It's basically Russ kind of like popping a message into his like WhatsApp group friends. And he's like, hey guys, you want to get a few beers, bring a couple of jumpstart cables and a battery?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I got a dude here who's just looking to be electrified.
No, for me, not a chance in hell ever.
No.
Not even something remotely similar, which conveniently.
Oh, hold on. Do I hear the Segway train?
Can we get a jingle for a Segway? That like a little button that you press whenever there's a Segway and it makes a Segway noise?
If you want to right now, what I can do is insert it in straight afterwards.
Yeah?
Okay.
All right. There's a place in New York. Blackout,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It's like a haunted house experience similar to McKamey Manor,
Right. Okay.
but like a way more tamed down version.
Yeah.
Like you won't die. But you do have to, I think you have to sign a waiver to go in there as well.
Wait, this is Blackout NYC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you did want to try out a torture house as opposed to a standard haunted house and you're in the New York area, it might be one to look into. This place sounds pretty crazy as far as like haunted houses go.
Yeah.
From what I read, so yeah, you do have to sign a waiver before you go in, right?
Yeah.
And I think the most severe thing that happens to you is you get like staplers, like a staple put into your skin.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. You what?
That's like, so yeah, you're not going to leave with like fractured bones or teeth missing,
Oh yeah, but you'll
but
come
you'll
out
be
with a few-
stapled,
All right. Awesome.
which
yeah.
isn't the word. Like,
I went to Blackout and all I got is this staple.
this lousy stapler. Yeah, so basically I think the premise is you go in, you're like blindfolded, noise cancelling headphones,
Right.
hands tied behind your back,
Yeah.
led up like along this wall, and then people like press up against you and like search your place style, throw you about a bit. I think you're like put into a dentist chair and someone like starts stroking your ears or whatever.
Oh no, very uncomfortable
Takes
stuff.
your shoe off, takes your sock off, shoves you into the hallway. You're kind of disoriented. I'm pretty sure you see people full on having sex, and then the dude comes up full naked and like obviously you're not blindfolded at this point. So you see full naked dude, and then he shoves you onto the bed. And they kind of like try and press up against you, and you have to try and like fight free. So obviously that could be fairly traumatic for a lot of people. So it's not your standard like haunted house at all. It also could be a little bit psychologically scarring, but obviously in comparison to McKamey, it's like really mild.
It's like it's haunting. It's not haunted.
Oh, for sure.
Like that what you just said,
Yeah.
I don't know, like for anybody who is listening to this and not watching this, I've literally just been staring
You're
at
looking
you
at me like terrified.
because I am freaking
Yeah.
terrified. Man, hold on a second. So you're getting full sensory deprivation.
Yeah.
You're getting staples in.
Yeah, I think they like pull, obviously, like, I don't know. From what I read, it like doesn't matter if you're like male, female, non-binary or whatever.
Well,
like
they just
treat you the
staple
same.
anything.
They like pull your shirt up and then staple your chest or whatever. which is like,
I'm sorry, I do not want a staple in the tit.
I know,
all right,
exactly.
If I am like a female, I'm like the last thing I would want is a staple on my breast.
for sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like only like
I don't think I want a staple in me anywhere. Like, have you ever like accidentally stapled the side of your finger in work or whatever, and it hurts so bad?
I've never accidentally stapled.
Have you not?
No,
I've done it.
I haven't. I remember we were in school. We used to kind of like do that whole thing where we would like slap a stapler on someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you would like staple something onto their back.
But it
like
doesn't go like in like
no, but that's clothes.
Yeah.
Like we would do it with clothes. We wouldn't do it on people's skin. But
yeah.
like yeah,
It's not gonna hurt you. Like you're probably not even gonna bleed. It's just gonna kind of sting a little bit. But like it's still
it's just the concept of that
Yeah.
included in something like this, like torture, and then the whole like porno kind of like snuff film aspect about it.
yeah. Because I think so. Basically, you're like thrown onto the bed. This naked guy is like, I think with your shoe off that was removed earlier, he starts like giving you a foot massage, and then the woman that was on the bed is like, he's crazy, like help me, and then I'm pretty sure you like have to run out, and then security, well in brackets like security comes and throws you out.
Right.
But that's the end of the tour then. I think you get your shoe back. I don't really know.
That is what. That's your biggest concern. It's like, wait, do I get the shoe back?
Well, yeah, you don't want to like.
That's a
be walking around-
Balenciaga man that I got from the ocean.
Nice callback. But yeah, so not really up my street, but I mean there's obviously a niche for these like torture houses.
Yeah, like it's, as I say, like it's not even a scare maze. It's kind of like there's nothing, like it's not a fear kind of like place. It's
Oh, it is. I'm terrified of them.
right. Well, hear me out. It's not a fear as in like ghost schools, you know, clowns, spiders, that kind of stuff. It's almost beyond an attraction.
It's too real,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's not like, I don't know, man, because that's not an attraction. Because like an attraction would be something that like your family would go to, or like suits like the majority of people. Do you know
But
what I mean?
even like we've done like 18 plus horror mazes, but in the back of your head, you're always like, the actors can't touch you.
Oh yeah, like
So
I remember.
no matter how scared you are, like you come out, your heart's racing, you're terrified,
Yeah.
but you're not hurt.
Well, we went to one, if you remember, and it was like in the south of Ireland, like just on the border between the north and the south.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the maze, this dude's chasing after you, like Leatherface style with a
Yeah.
chainsaw. Like that shit's crazy scary.
Yeah, we were running for our lives, and we knew in the back of our heads, we're like, there's no blade on that.
Yeah.
You can still smell the petrol. There's a crazy guy comes out of the woods.
Yeah.
And all of us were like sprinting through this forest,
Yeah.
terrified. But
Yeah.
it was so fun.
Yeah, but it was so fun because
Yeah.
you knew that you would like, he's not going to catch you because he's just kind of like,
He's an actor.
right.
But you forget all that. You're like immersed in it.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Whereas like if you take away that safety net, as I said earlier, then you're like, okay, I could potentially die here.
Yeah, if in any of those situations, any of those horror mazes we've ever done, if the actors suddenly started growling you and pushing you,
Yeah.
it just changes the whole dynamic.
Yeah. It kind of like, this is, I guess, like a little intermission bit from this because it reminds me of a few movies that I kind of want to like reference in regards to this. If you are kind of like enjoying this at the moment, I love just referencing media and stuff that you can kind of like, I guess, get immersed in yourself.
It's
to a
like
degree.
extra credit. It's like class. If you want a little bonus point, here's some extra reading.
Here's extra reading for this class. I don't know why I sound like this, but yeah, so there's a movie made in 2015 called Hell House LLC. It's pretty good. Basically about these guys who are like creating their own like kind of like horror maze. However, one of the people are not what they seem.
Right, okay.
Hellfest, haunts, and then it kind of goes down the line of like, you know, haunting a hell house and stuff like that, where there are actual like haunted houses.
Yeah.
But Haunt, I just kind of want to give it massive props. It is incredible. It was only released in 2019,
Okay.
and it's about like, it's a low budget movie, but it's really well done. And it's about these people who go to this, well, actually they find a flyer for this place and then they go to it. And apparently it's supposed to be like a really scary maze. And then things start going from like, this is kind of funny, you know, kind of like good actors, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets to the point where people actually start disappearing.
Right, okay.
So I'll leave it to that. But that's the intermission segment. I believe you have some terrifying place that you want to talk about as well?
I just really want to go here so badly.
I kind of do. Well, like after all of this that we've talked about,
Yeah.
like
We'll end on a happy note. Well, not that happy, but more fun.
we'll end on a spoopy note.
Yeah.
You know?
Bring it full circle.
Yeah.
We're all traumatized now. Let's have a little bit of spookiness.
Well, I'm pretty sure everyone's like hurting their fingers just Googling and looking through all the stuff that we've just talked about.
There's so much.
There, honestly, there is so much freaking material, man, on like the McKamey and Blackout as well.
Even despite that, there are so many cool haunted houses or horror mazes or escape rooms, like loads in America, but like all around the world that just look so fun.
So sick.
I want to do like all of them.
I want to do every single one of them. Like, I know there's people, and we did mention this before as part of the dark tourism, but I would love to travel like a country, many countries, the world, in search for all of these horror mazes.
Yeah.
Like, and a horror like experiences. Obviously ones that they don't, you know, try and pull out your teeth or, you know, have sex with you or fucking staple you in the butt. But,
Yeah.
you know, I would like that.
Yeah. So this one, it's in Japan, and we know Japan is like kind of renowned for really fucked up horror.
Yeah.
This place has the best like name I've ever heard. It's the Super Scary Labyrinth of Fear. I think that is just the best name ever.
Why does that sound like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory?
Yeah, doesn't it? It's like
What are we gonna call it, guys? Okay, give me the first two words that come to your head. We're doing this maze, okay? Super scary. Perfect, Mark. Okay, brilliant. And Karen, what do you like? We know you're like the sci-fi nerd. Go for it. Labyrinth of Fear. Perfect. And then Mark's like, oh, my idea's crushed. Karen's like sitting there all smug. And then he's like, okay, the Super Scary Labyrinth of Fear.
it sounds so fun.
Put it together.
So this is in Fuji-Q Highland Theme Park, which is in Tokyo, I believe.
Okay.
So this is actually in the Guinness World Book of Records
Oh.
for
Worst name. No.
best name.
The best worst name.
It's for the longest and scariest house of horror in the world.
The longest?
Longest. So yeah, so it's over an hour average to go
Right.
through it. And you know, like I'm sure most people who've done haunted houses or whatever in the past, like 20 minutes usually tops.
Yeah, that's kind of like one of my biggest complaints about like going to like haunted houses and stuff is that like it doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
Like you
I mean,
want
it's hard to like keep up the scare for that long. So
right, there's only so many tricks you can do in reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they're usually like even 20 minutes I feel like is pushing it sometimes. Like sometimes you're in and out 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
So this one, just over an hour.
Okay.
It's been going since 1999 and they've expanded it ever since. So it used to be like quite a bit shorter.
Right, okay.
But it's now 900 meters of a puzzling maze.
900 meters?
Yeah. So so the concept is an old hospital, an
Right,
old
okay.
like asylum sort of type place.
Yeah.
It's based on an urban legend, which is super popular in the area.
Okay.
So basically, it's at the foot of Mount Fuji,
Right.
and there was this hospital that doctors used to harvest live organs from patients and dispose of the bodies to like sell to like.
So like the proper urban legend of like waking up in a bathtub covered in ice, man.
Yeah, so you'd go in with like a broken leg and you'd like, well, you might not wake up then basically. But they would sell organs to, you know, like underground traders or sort of like dodgy, like selling
Right,
them
black market
for-
type stuff.
Yeah, like, you know, like alternative medicine where they'd like, you know, crush up a kidney or something.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then they would dispose of the bodies. I think there was like a big mass unmarked grave, or they would just like dump them in like dumpsters at the back of the
That is
hospital.
insane, man.
But then obviously the spirits of these former patients would come back and haunt and kill doctors in the hospital.
Wait, so they would actually not just haunt doctors, they would go out and fucking kill them?
This is the story. So this is like a really, really popular urban legend. So that's what this hospital is based on, this super scary labyrinth of fear. So even when you go in, there's like corpses hanging in trees. There's like dead bodies in wheelchairs outside. And I'm talking like top quality animatronics. Like they look so
So they're
real.
actual animatronics. They're not like actors or anything like that.
A lot of the corpses as such are like wax figures or animatronics, and they look so real. They're like movie grade.
Right. That's terrifying to begin with.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of one of those things that, like, whenever you're looking at it, you're like, can I see it breathing? Can I see it moving?
Yeah, you're looking really closely.
Yeah.
And then something else pops out in the corner.
Right, okay. Like a red herring almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to go in this place solo. It's groups of 2 or 3 only.
Right, okay.
Because apparently it's just too scary.
Fuck, right, okay.
So it's like a maze, but the thing is, like, when you go into haunted houses or mazes, there's usually a pretty clear path, right? And if you try and go one way, like an actor will jump out and shiver you along the right
like
way.
it's they call it like a maze, but it's not a maze because you're led round.
Yeah.
Like there's always like a guide or like a clear path.
Yeah.
To kind of like follow.
This place is not like that at all. This is free roaming.
So this place is in an asylum. Like this is a
in
massive
an old hospital building. Yeah.
Right, which is like, I'm assuming, renovated specifically for this kind of place.
Looks renovated, but it's terrifying looking inside.
Yeah, well, like obviously it's got all the like horror tropes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But every single part of it is a part of the maze.
Yeah, the whole building. So that's why it takes so long to finish. There's so much I want to talk about this place. It's so cool.
I kind of want to hear all about it because it just sounds like, I don't know, like all I would say is that people get safety with a guide. People get safety with the fact is that all I need to do, it's kind of like those kind of old Nintendo games where you know that you just have to run across the screen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas
you
like,
need to leg it.
right.
Yeah.
Or whenever you get that taken away from you and you can go anywhere, and these actors and stuff, they come out and they scare you, you completely shit your pants, and then you run the opposite direction. The next thing you know, you're some other part of the place and you need to find your way back.
It's unknown, yeah. So they sell something called omamori before you go in.
Okay.
It's like a little token, but it's basically a Japanese lucky charm for protection. And these actually glow, so you can actually use them to see your way around the hospital inside as well.
That's sick.
But there's sort of like an unwritten rule that if the actors see you wearing one of these, they'll go a little bit easier on you.
What does a little bit easier mean?
Well, from what I've read, like they chase you and you need to run away from them. It's not just like they're going to run up and stop and scare you. Like they'll properly chase you.
That
and you need to get away.
Is fucking terrifying.
And then that could lead you into a whole other part of the hospital and you don't know where you are. So then you need to, again, start trying to find your way back out.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so each room as well has emergency exits. So a lot of people don't finish because it's just too scary.
And so long.
That they dip out. So every room, I think it's like a pink light and it looks like an emergency exit sort of thing. But each room has one of these doors and you can just dip out and that's you out of the maze.
That's you done.
Yeah.
And loads of people use it all the time. So like, yeah, because that's kind of like the different end of the spectrum, I guess. These kind of things that we were previously talking about, yeah, they last for some time, but no, like it's not really like a horror experience. You're not being led around somewhere. It's like you're sitting there taking it or being led from like one room to another room or whatever. But this is kind of like the classic horror maze, but it's taken all those like guidance and safety restrictions away.
Yeah.
I would like to
be tiring though. Like think of how tired you'd be after being scared and not knowing how to get out. Like I'm not kidding. The theme park sells spare underwear.
Shut the fuck up.
In case you like pee your pants because you're so scared. That's genuinely a thing.
Dude, that's a good selling point. Like what would you name it? Like instead of like I survived, it'd be like I shat my pants in the labyrinth of fear.
Well, that's a thing as well. Like I'm completely like spiraling here, but they actually have like poo scent coming through the vents because it's meant to be like fully immersive. Like in some rooms it literally smells like sewers because they like pump that smell through the vents. There's like I think there's like a morgue room that you go through. There's like a vaccine testing place. There's like the crematorium. There's like the baby morgue. Like there's some really like disturbing rooms in there.
No, man.
And you need to go through each one. And in each room there's like just terrifying actors and animatronics and
That's creepy
It
as
sounds
hell.
so fun, but so scary.
I kind of want to go. And I know there's like a couple of videos on YouTube. I remember you telling me about it of
There's
like people
walkthroughs if you want to
who
see.
like walk through it. But obviously that's like you wouldn't really watch that. Like you would watch it to get like an understanding of it, but you wouldn't particularly watch it just to kind of be like, it's like I'm there.
I know.
Unless you're watching it through like a VR 3D headset. But even at that,
That's another thing that you can buy for part of the horror maze. You can actually it's called Star in Your Own Horror Movie.
okay,
But it's only for a certain part because there's certain parts that they don't let you film in.
right, okay.
But you can buy a helmet that has a GoPro strap to it, and you're watching your own walkthrough after.
That would be so good.
Yeah.
That's basically like I would just be running everywhere, and all you could hear is just like
Yeah. Best movie ever.
yeah. It's like man screams for 1 hour. I think it's probably a good place to end it there before we do kind of dive into like really dark fantasies of how far you would go.
Yeah.
But the only
That's one thing don't leave in the comments. I don't want to know.
would you take a stapler to the butt? That's what we're saying. Not a staple, the whole stapler.
All right then. Yeah.
The last question I kind of got for you on this, I guess, would you do it? Would you do any of the experiences apart from the Labyrinth of Fear, which you've already said?
I really don't think I would. Like I'm good with paranormal scares and jump scares, whatever. I don't think I would ever want to pay or be paid for that matter to be physically assaulted. I just think that it's crossing a line for me.
Yeah.
I understand people that do, but personally I don't think so. I'm fine with people in ghost outfits. That does it for me.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
Well, my price tag would be a lot higher. I would tell you that. But if there was anything like that, if I had to walk through a place where there was potential assaults happening, I think I would try and psych them out. You know how you can't touch the people even though they can touch you, the actors?
Yeah.
I just walk around and I'd be like, not touch! No touch!
Do you think that would work?
Did that freak
2
you out?
staples for you.
Probably slap me with the stapler. Yeah, fair.
You'd be like a plaything for them then. Be like, oh, sassy one, is it?
Yeah, I'd be one of these people. They'd be like, oh yeah, he's coming in thinking he's big balls.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I would come out screaming like a little child.
No, not for me.
No, I don't think it would be for me as well. I think I've made it abundantly clear that spooky is good. The unknown is awesome. What I don't like is stuff that is known, like pain being put on me right then, right there.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
There is no mystery to that. It is happening and it is sore. So no, I don't think so. But I think I'm going to leave this for anybody else who wants to kind of pitch in on this. Would you stay? What would be your price tag, and would you go through one of these? Have you went through one? What was it like? Did they touch your butt? How many staples do you have?
These are the questions we want to know.
I want to know all these questions. So please do drop a comment on the YouTube or send us a message on any of our socials, which is linked into the audio and video of this, because I would love to know. Please don't send me a random DM being like, a stapler was put in my butt once, because if you don't put context to this episode, I just think you're telling me something as a confession.
You're going too hard on the stapler butt thing.
Sorry.
5 times.
It's just the thing is just in my head. I don't know why. Anyway, let's get on to the Patreons before I have a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
I guess. Before I do read these out though, I do want to say thank you very much to anybody who has signed up to the Patreon. So far, it is patreon.com/Ghost Arcade. It is coming across the screen right now, and the link is also in all the audio formats. The new setup that we have, we're kind of mixing up setup every week, because we're kind of trying to find something that is visually and audibly nice.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of in the teething, I think, but from the help of you guys, we've made this audio sound incredible.
Sounds so much better now.
Honestly, like if you look back or listen back to the first one when we were side by side breaking our necks to look at each other and sounded like we were, I don't know,
On the floor.
Yeah.
With little crippled spines.
like we were sounding like as if we were recording it in a bathroom. But thank you so much, because without you and without your patronage and support, we would not be able to, make this content for you guys.
For sure.
And girls, So yeah, as I said, links are there if you do want to sign up, and if you
and get the spooky bonus episode.
You get one spooky bonus episode per week, unless otherwise mentioned.
Unless you got your tooth pulled out and I got an infection and had to be in penicillin.
That is true. That's why
that
the
was our
podcast
week.
is late. Yeah, our week has been crazy. But we normally do. There are, I think, 5 episodes that are currently up on the Patreon, and there will be a Patreon podcast being recorded after this. So yeah, if you do want your voice heard, if you do want your comments answered, and if you do want topics reviewed on GhostWaves, Patreon, DM, anything, it'd be awesome. So on the Patreons, we have a few new ones this week, Tarita.
Welcome.
Which is awesome. Welcome to you. I was very enthusiastic there. But yeah, Ghostly Grimoire, Undead Mermaid 86, Jackson S, Reality Remixer, Arlie Miramontes, X2 Shoes, Rebecca Mongold, Nora Jones, Thirsty Disment, Veronica Sassy, Soundjam FX, She, Battle Meow, Rappa, Tom Whitfield, Shannon Williams, Houses1221, and Caleb Llewellyn. Folks, thank you so much. Always, every week. We honestly do appreciate the Patreonage. We appreciate you being a spooky boy. All right?
And you do get so excited when you see people sign up.
Man,
it's really cute.
Honestly, like I'm not kind of like, being a douche here, but whenever like somebody signs up to the Patreon, I literally run into Rachel's room and I'm like, it's like, the girl from Ghostbusters, she like hits the buzzer and she's like, we got one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then I do the Ghostbusters dance.
Which might be bonus content you can unlock one day.
Ghostbusters.
Get him.
Yeah, I think we should probably end the podcast there.
All right.
Because I'm getting way too giddy and I don't know why.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy the Patreon podcast. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. And next week we'll be looking at something a bit strange, because we've been asking people on Instagram to answer a few questions for us. If you want to hit us up on Instagram or any of the socials, please do once again. But until next time, stay spooky.
And leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or else.
Or else I will come to your house with a stapler. All right. Bye.
Bye.